Hey guys, how you all doing? The Wrestling Guy back here today. Welcome to another video on the channel. Today I've got something a little bit different for you guys today. Um, as I'm sure a lot of you know, WWE released 10 superstars yesterday. Um, some of which are surprising, some of which aren't surprising. But I'm just going to give you guys a bit of a heads up as to who has been released. Um, and yeah, because it's quite big news actually. A couple of these on here are quite surprising. Like I said, a couple not so much. And we're just going to have a little look through it. If you guys do go on to enjoy the video, hit the thumbs up button and subscribe, and let me know down below in the comment section what you think about these releases that WWE have made. Okay, so up first we have Samoa Joe. Now, I think this is a big one for me. It's kind of a little bit upsetting that they've let Samoa Joe go, if I'm honest with you. I think it's a shame. I think there's a lot of potentially really good matchups that we could have seen with Samoa Joe and Roman Reigns, Samoa Joe and Bobby Lashley, Samoa Joe and Drew McIntyre, Samoa Joe and AJ Styles again, maybe something like that. It's just such a shame to not see Samoa Joe do a little bit more. And it's a shame that he hasn't won the big one. He hasn't won the big WWE or Universal Championship as well. I mean, someone like Samoa Joe you would expect to do that, but unfortunately he hasn't with the WWE, which is a shame. But even drifting away from his in-ring abilities, love him on commentary. I really like Samoa Joe on commentary. I think he's one of those commentators that I think he really has a lot of wrestling knowledge and he knows what he's talking about, which makes a big difference with commentary. And I really like him on there. I think he's doing a really good job, or he was doing a really good job. And these little interviews that, if for those of you who watched the NXT Takeover kickoff show, you would know that Samoa Joe was doing these little interviews with the superstars. And I was really enjoying that. I thought that was great, and I would have loved to have seen a lot more of that. So yeah, it's a bit of a shame. And Samoa Joe's gone. It'll be interesting to see what his future endeavours hold. Will he be looking to maybe go to AEW? We never know. We'll have to see what happens. But yeah, that's a real shame, that one. I was quite shocked when I read that one. The next one we have is obviously the Iconics, Billie Kay and Peyton Royce. If I'm honest, when I first saw that they'd released them, I was kind of, the first thing that came to my mind was I was really confused why they used Billie Kay at WrestleMania and then released her afterwards. I mean, it's kind of a little bit. I mean, from watching the match she had at WrestleMania, she was in the tag team turmoil and she was in a tag team with Carmella. It kind of looked like she was just chucked in randomly and was like, yeah, she'll do. And then that was it. And that kind of is what happened, I think. I mean, they've released her now, which is a shame. When they split up the Iconics, I was a little bit disappointed because I was a fan of the Iconics. Not a fan of either of them when they're separate, if I'm honest. It is a shame to see them both go because I think there was potential for them in the women's division in the WWE. And I was kind of a bit shocked, especially about Peyton Royce, because Peyton Royce had that really passionate speech on Rule Talk a couple of weeks ago. And that, for me, was a perfect opportunity to get her in for a Raw Women's Championship storyline. And it's a real shame that they didn't take that further because there was a lot of potential in just that one interview. And I would love to have seen them take that further. Like I said, maybe push it for the Raw Women's Championship. It would have been nice to have seen, but unfortunately nothing came of it, which is a shame. But yeah, all the best to both of them in their future endeavours. Next we have Mickie James. This was another real surprise for me. She did a great job on commentary. Can I just put it out there during WrestleMania weekend? Would love to have seen more of it. Would love to have seen some more of her commentary on NXT, or if not NXT, up on Raw SmackDown. So it's a real shame to see her go as well. Would love to have seen her, like I said, maybe do some journalism, maybe with some of the other backstage reporters, or someone like that, something like that. Just use her for something, because it's worked with Beth Phoenix, and I think it's going to work. It would have worked with Mickie James. Like I said, we saw a brief snippet of what she could do on commentary at WrestleMania weekend. I really liked it, and would have loved to have seen a bit more. But unfortunately, they have let it go, which is a shame. And the next real relevant one is Chelsea Green. Now, in my opinion, obviously, as we know, Chelsea Green has been out for injury a couple of for quite a while, and I think she got injured far too early in her career, um, and as a result of that, she lost her chance at having anything done with her in NXT. They were trying to, just before she got injured, push her up, and I think that was way too early to try and do that. And then unfortunately, she's just come back from injury, and then she's been dropped completely. So that must be really gutting for Chelsea Green. Would have liked to have seen her do a bit more. I think she had a bit more potential than they gave her, but unfortunately, I think that injury came far too soon, which is a shame. Okay, next up we have Tucker. Now, obviously, they split up Heavy Machinery a couple of months ago, which was a bit of a surprise for a lot of fans, I think. And after that, they were hinting at a rivalry with Tucker and Otis, but then they did nothing with it. And I think it was sort of confusing for a lot of fans because obviously Tucker cost Otis his Money in the Bank briefcase, and then later on in the night they had the backstage scene where Tucker was attacking Otis, and I kind of thought, oh, this is brilliant. This is going to lead to a nice little rivalry between Otis and Tucker. And then that was it. Tucker literally got disappeared, and basically got pushed back to the back of the queue. And I think it's a real shame because I think Tucker as a heel would have been really, really good. And it's nice to see him out in the zone. I thought this is a great opportunity for Tucker to really go and see what both him and Otis can both do on their own. But unfortunately, he just got pushed to the back of the queue. And for me, I think Tucker is one of those guys where I would have liked to have seen him maybe go back down to NXT to see if NXT had a little bit more for him. I think he would have fitted in quite nicely as a heel on NXT. But for me now, the fact that WWE have released him, I think he could be a hot favourite to go to AEW. I think that AEW would do well to pick him up, and I think they'd know how to use him as well. So keep your eyes out, guys. I think there's potential Tucker could be going to AEW soon. We never know. We'll have to see what happens. Okay, the next one we have is Kalisto. Obviously, they did the storyline where they split up the Lucha House Party and then put them on different brands. Obviously, you had Gran Metalik and Lindsay Dorado on one brand and Kalisto on the other. And then after that, if I'm honest, they didn't really do very much with Kalisto. Obviously, we saw for a brief period a little bit with Gran Metalik and Lindsay Dorado doing some tag work together. And then Kalisto pretty much just disappeared again, got pushed to the back of the queue. Don't 100% quote me on this, but I think Kalisto was out injured for a brief period, which probably didn't help with that. But for me, I think, again, now that WWE have released him, this is going to be a very hot signing for AEW. I think AEW are going to snap Kalisto up, and I think he's going to be another really good luchador for AEW to have. So keep an eye out for that one. I could see that one happening fairly soon, which I think would be good. I think he'd be good on AEW, and it's nice to see his talent and his character be used. So we'll see what happens over there. Okay, next up we have Bo Dallas. Now, this one's a really interesting one for me personally, because I know obviously he's been off for quite a while now. Again, I speculate it's due to injury. And there was that speculation that I've been reading a lot on the internet from fans, that there was the potential that Bo Dallas was the Fiend at WrestleMania. Now, I've been looking into this a little bit further, and I don't think this is the case. There's a couple of reasons why. Firstly, I think a lot of the images that people have put online have been photoshopped or edited to make the Fiend look different. There's a couple of reasons why I can tell you it's not Bo Dallas. Firstly, Bray Wyatt's neck tattoo on the Fiend's neck. When the Fiend pays tribute to Luke Harper. And also when he does a Yowie Wowie, it's definitely Bray Wyatt. But then after people, I think, sort of gave up on the fact that it wasn't Bo Dallas as the Fiend, they then moved on to saying about there's a potential for there to be a storyline with Alexa Bliss, Bo Dallas, and Bray Wyatt. And I thought that this could be really, really good. I was really looking forward to seeing if this was going to be taken any further. A lot of people were kind of left in the dark after the match at WrestleMania with the Fiend and Randy Orton, with that bit with Alexa Bliss at the end. I think a lot of people have been searching for answers, and I think Bo Dallas was quite a hot pick for a lot of fans. I think a lot of people thought Bo Dallas has obviously been out for a while injured, and it would be good for him to come back and do a storyline with them. And I would have loved to have seen that. I think that would have been really good. And I think they could have done a lot more with him. Would have loved to have seen him go back down to NXT. I thought when he was in NXT beforehand, obviously when he won the championship, was brilliant. I really, really did like Bo Dallas. And I think they could have done a lot more with him. I think they kind of didn't really know how to use him, so kind of just tried to chuck him into whatever, and it didn't really work. So it's a shame to see him go. But again, he's another one of those wrestlers you've just kind of got forgotten about. But it's a shame. We'll have to see if he appears on any of the other promotions soon. Okay, I've got two left. Firstly, Wesley Blake was obviously in the Forgotten Sons. I really liked the Forgotten Sons, obviously, when they were in NXT, and then they moved up to SmackDown. And then obviously the Forgotten Sons, no pun intended, were forgotten about a little bit. And then we started seeing these storylines with Jackson Riker and Elias. Obviously, Jackson Riker made a surprise appearance a couple of weeks ago, which was a surprise for a lot of fans. But then the other two were kind of left behind. But unfortunately for me, Wesley Blake's one of those people where, if I'm honest, I actually forgot he was with the company in the first place, which is a shame because the Forgotten Sons were great. All three of them were great, and they worked really well together as a team. So it's a shame to see him go, but he kind of just got pushed to the back and sort of left behind, and it's a real shame to see him go. But again, it's not a really surprise one. And finally, Mojo Rawley. We haven't seen him for a while. He was doing some stuff, I remember, last WrestleMania with the 24/7 Championship, obviously with the Gronk. And I'm really not sad to see him go at all. I think they didn't know how to use him. He was kind of just becoming one of those annoying guys that was just taking up TV time from other wrestlers. And I'm really not sad to see him go. But again, it would be interesting to see if one of the other promotions maybe look to pick him up. We'll just have to see what happens. So that is the list of the 10 superstars that WWE have released at this time of recording. Anyway, there may be more releases happening. But yeah, just wanted to put this one out there for you guys. It's quite a big bit of news in the wrestling world. Please let me know what you think about all of this down below in the comment section. I'd love to see what you guys think. And yeah, for me, just be interesting to see if these guys do venture out to other promotions. Looking at AEW, Ring of Honor, Impact, New Japan Pro Wrestling. We never know. Could we see any of these faces on other wrestling promotions very soon? We will have to wait and find out. Thank you very much for watching, guys. Leave a like if you enjoyed the video, and I'll see you in the next one.